like post-graduation in radiology from the University of West Indies. And I'm glad to be part of this team, and I'm glad to help if anything needed regarding AI and radiology, because radiology now is going in a different path with the recent technology. And there are a lot of applications like reading of X-rays, CT scans, and MRIs with artificial intelligence. And I'm proud to help in any part if the need arises, and we can start some projects in future. We can do some research on that, and thank you. And everybody's help and input will be great in this regards, and we can take it forward if anybody has any projects regarding that.
Sure.
And thank you, Raj. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you, Shiva. Definitely. I think you are the person. I think obviously I know Shiva for a long time. Obviously, he's been a radiologist. And Shiva, we have also Enrico in the call. I'll connect with him separately. Just very quickly, Enrico, if you can able to share your experiences on the image side, maybe that will at least tie back the medical kind of conversation, and also we can able to go on in that. Hi, Enrico.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Mr. Enrico. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Shiva. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
So yes, I've worked on medical imaging for a lot of time since my PhD on different modalities. I started with retinal imaging. Now Google took over. So, but then I worked on brain MR, on confocal microscopy, confocal imaging of the retina or the skin and of the endoscopy tract, or gastroenterologist tract, white light endoscopy, digital pathology. Wow, very, very different things. Something that everybody's doing, something like segmentation, detection of things within the images or something like this. Yes. But my feeling is that the most interesting work or value that AI can deliver is the prediction of or personalization of patient state. So prediction of who's responding to which therapy and who or some other, or who's going to have an aggressive disease versus who's going to have a mild type of disease. And of course, the discovery of biomarkers is something AI can help on.
Oh, very good.
And in this regard, I work on a lot of contrast enhanced ultrasound. So you see, you try to link pattern of flow to pattern of inflammation.
Yes. That will be.
I think Shiva's got muted. I think Enrico, definitely. I think for those of go ahead, Shiva.
That would be great, and we can work on some of the projects. Like, we can maybe get some sample data and see if we can do any of the detections, like patterns of disease, like benign versus malignant and stuff, Thank you very much, Enrico. Anytime we can discuss, and I will call you personally, and we can have some discussions, right?
Yeah.
Great.
So thank you, Shiva. I know that you're busy, and obviously, you being a radiologist, I think you're very busy now with.
I have another outcome quality week, so I think you can about that, right?
Go ahead, and take care. Thank you for making time.
Take care. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah. Bye.
Thanks.
So thank you, Enrico. I think that was really useful, Enrico, because a lot of people who might not know in different areas of what we're really doing, I think it's mainly our business. I think I'll let maybe Neil also will speak a little bit about that. I think we started with the very general kind of AI solutions and looking at different areas, start of our career last year with this business, right? I think since then, we've been very much focused on definitely some few verticals for sure. Financial services is being one, because obviously I worked on the financial services. I know that area to an extent. And also we have people in our business who are really efficient. They worked in financial services like Alexander for a very long time, and Ali, and people like that. And naturally we know the space very well. And also we looked at some opportunities in there, and we definitely picked up a lot of opportunities there where AI can help. And also we moved on to different areas also, like an example, health is my particular of interest. My personal interest to use AI in healthcare, because obviously that is something a bit of a complex, and also it's not been used as the way as we can look at Enrico's some of the complex problems like imaging. When you look at CT and MRI, that's even a different problem. It's not about whether it's me, whether it's Bob, whether it's Neil, by looking at a face recognition technology, right? When you look at an MRI scan, it's much more complex and different. That's complex game as well. And also beyond that, we had a number of conversations with doctors like Shiva and also other people, that diagnosis and also pre-diagnosis, and actually that the patient, many things can be applied in AI in the healthcare. And US is particularly standing out, obviously bigger, because they're actually focusing a lot on healthcare with AI. I think I don't need to tell much about it. And also, Brian, I believe recently you were engaged with one of this virtual hospital or healthcare company, right? Which has got funding or something, which you are helping that company to in the COVID situation, isn't it? It's coming up.
Yeah, just heard literally 10 minutes ago they're just concluding a £9 million, $12 million fundraise for a virtual hospital that does virtual outplacement consultant appointments. So the idea is your doctor's referral immediately gets triaged, sent virtually to a consultant that same day. Your tests get booked, and treatment happens online. So exciting times.
Perfect. But I think it would be really great actually to just introduce yourself as well very quickly, because very interesting. Before I tell that, Brian, we've been talking almost like a year now, right? I think you asked the interesting question when we start the business, which verticals we are using, can we apply there, can we do that? Since then, as you can see, we've evolved definitely to a way where we have a product now. Obviously, it's been kind of in use in different verticals. We'd be really keen to get your insights, and also obviously, how we can able to, respond to the current, the demand, and also in the space of AI. And you already spoken to someone recently, right? Anything will be really useful. Thanks, Brian.
Okay, so not prepared for that, but this Tuesday I had a workshop with the CEO and his team, and one of the questions he'd asked me to prepare, the subject was, what's their business strategy and where should they go and how do they increase their valuation? But he said, can you also take some 10 minutes out and talk about AI and where it stands? And so Raj and I had a quick discussion about that. So it's pretty clear that the world of AI ranges from the kind of absolute state-of-the-art, clever, insightful analysis of radiotherapy images through to the much more mundane automation of business processes. Personally, I've been involved in AI, not just for this virtual hospital, but I helped launch the UK's National Health Service conversational AI bot for COVID-19 in Scotland, and that's live now. Handling some of the population's questions about COVID. But in the discussion that I was having on Tuesday, it's clear that the AI, which has been around for decades, is now emerging as a tool to kind of help you make sense of things that individuals could do really relatively easily, but machines can do at far greater precision, far greater speed. So the business on Tuesday was doing document identification verification. So it's into, is Enrico real, or is that an internet image that he scanned? Is this passport a real Indian passport, or is it a fake? Is this visa still valid for this person, and does their face match the picture on their passport, and that kind of thing? So I regard that as a sort of fairly mundane use of AI, but nonetheless, it will transform this particular business. So the short answer is there's little understanding in most businesses about the opportunity. There is massive appetite in the investment community to look at businesses that are using AI for commercial gain. So not using AI for gratuitous use of AI, but using AI to make them grow faster, be more competitive, improve their margins, and so on. So I literally have 2 or 3 calls with PE firms every week, and that's always on the agenda. I have investors that are constantly saying, let's keep an eye out for AI opportunities. And Raj and I have talked about the A-Infinity solution being used to help private equity companies manage their portfolios of investments by seeing what's going on, tracking what competitors are doing, tracking how their portfolio businesses are performing. I'm also working with 50 startups at a time in the world's largest pre-seed accelerator. And one of them I was talking to last week was doing fashion matching. So, matching clothes that you put in your wardrobe, clothes you've got for sale with clothes that are available for sale through online forums and retailers to try and do that matching. So there's an awful lot going on. But I think the key is to find opportunities where you can make a real commercial difference rather than just use AI for AI's sake. I say this as somebody who's employed 12 AI academics in my last fintech role and struggled to get them to deliver anything of commercial value. They ended up delivering a dress matching, which sounds as trivial as can be. It actually cut a process time down from 8 days to 20 minutes, so it was very worthwhile. But that's the best they could come up with after 3 years and £4 million to spend. So it's an exciting space. The time is now. It's easy to get investment if you've got good ideas. I think the role for AI Infinity is to identify those 2 or 3 areas where there's real customer demand and a match of skills and experience.
Yeah, Brian, I think that's brilliant, and I really like that's really brilliant. Thank you again for being with us. Obviously, you're so busy, and also thanks for making time throughout our journey, almost a year now, and of course, being that valuable insights to us. Where are the opportunities, whether it's PE or whether other opportunities, telematics, and definitely, I think really appreciate that, and also being very close to the investors as well as the customers. I see it's important that everyone is now trying to use AI to optimize efficiencies, and also, yes, the time is that time is now, and thanks for making time today. And one very interesting thing I would like to just stand out at this moment is that yes, AI has been there for a very long time, and it's really been very productive for the last 5-10 years because of the use of GPU servers and cloud infrastructure. Now there is one more interesting concept is already in the periphery of explainable AI, right? Which is where most of our company's efforts and vision and focus is on explainable AI, which is actually not anymore the black box models, looking at how the AI is actually determining and actually giving the predictions, or perhaps looking at determining many things. I think this is the fundamental problem for many systems, like you said, Brian, because people will not trust AI because they don't understand. It's just like human nature, right? If you don't trust something, you just think it's not good. It's like we don't know electricity, but we know it works. You don't want to test electricity by putting in a hole somewhere, right? So basically, that's the way it is. And also, where obviously we have Swati today here in our call. She's done the research on explainable AI for more than 4 years, and she's written papers on it. She's heading our explainable AI research and also the platforms and products on that space, and which is really the game changer for the future of AI. And obviously, when explainability comes in, how everything is explainable in terms of decisioning, in terms of actually anomaly patterns, in terms of recognizing whether it's Brian, whether it's me, how actually the system can able to do that. Until now, there isn't one solution available to do that, and this is where the biggest edge for the company is in, and we are actually part of the journey with our credibility with Swati and also Professor Tassos on that. We'll let Swati also to talk about that just a little bit. Thank you, Brian, for that. I know you're rushed with time, and feel free. We will talk later. So maybe on that line, I think maybe perhaps I would say, rather than me talking, I would let everyone to for the next half an hour or 30. Maybe if anyone is pressed with the time, please let me know. I think German, you also have a few minutes ready. It would be great to have some views from you, and also perhaps how we can able to, that would be great.
Yeah, I think, so when the data company started, the focus was very much on having a solution that collates, correlates, cleans data into a centralized place that you have a single source of truth. And that has its challenges, because like from some of the customers we've seen, there's siloed systems, there's Excel spreadsheets, it's surprising what you come across in these big organizations. And they don't have the single source of truth, and a lot of the time they don't have this 360 view of a customer. But it's great if you have that data, and now from there you need to utilize it. And this is where we come in with Ainfinity and utilize you as a partner. We've worked in various industries, so construction, financial services, pharmaceutical companies, and a whole range of others. So it would be great to actually get in touch with a few of you. I think, Brian, especially you, I've actually had challenges in investments and asset management firms where they struggle to identify a use case for AI. They're very keen on it, they're very keen on predictive analytics, but they don't know how to apply it. So yeah, looking forward to perhaps touching up and meeting up with a few of you.
Oh, thank you, Germaine. Of course, now the data company, obviously, what their specialize is about the data. The very interesting name, right? That the company itself is called The Data Company. It's a very good, catchy name, and also it's very good. What they do is about, obviously, we know that obviously the data is the problem, and they're very specialized in actually making the data available as fast as possible in more cleansed, more harmonized way. And I really saw the platform is very agile and like us, and it's really very interesting. And that's what our partnership is really about. They're really good at the data integration and also the data consolidation and quality side of it. And then we can apply AI on top of the data so that it's meaningful. And you just can use visualizations to expose the data, right? So it could be graph, reports and dashboards. That's how our kind of partnerships, and I believe they've been very supportive for us. And they have access to financial services, and also, as Germaine mentioned, Kali and Aju as well, being the chairman and CEO. They've been with us also since last year. They've been with us with our shows, and we've been talking about very interesting use cases. And we're working on some of the interesting POCs. They developed something recently for South African government for COVID-19, right, which is really interesting to look at how actually can make sense of all the data from multiple sources about the hospital utilization, all the way the cases and everything, which was really good. They pulled the technology together, and that's really good. Thank you, Germaine.
And just quickly, as Raj says, I know Kali and Andrew well. In fact, Techfinium worked for one of the companies that I was a non-exec of, and I was talking to them both when they were setting up a data company. So interesting times ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, that's a very cycle, actually, because I met Aju. This is very interesting. I met Aju, who is actually the CEO for Techfinium. I met a lady through Aju called Avril. And then I met Brian. And then I think it's like a cycle back, I think, right? It's very interesting where these conversations go, right, isn't it? So thank you. Thank you, Brian, for staying. Yeah, it's very interesting. Thank you for that, Germaine. Much appreciated. So everything is back in South Africa, well, right? So you're back in South Africa now, right?
Yeah, back in South Africa. It's interesting. Business is good here, especially on the insurance side. People are interested, and definitely on the fraud side. So that's quite a interesting use case that we can
pick it up maybe perhaps with Brian. I think sometime on the asset management company we've been talking about, right? Sometime maybe next week or whenever Brian and you, we can have a conversation and just to see how we can able to kind of start with some kind of a use case, make them analyze where they can start, right? This is fundamentally most of the challenges as well, not only for you. Everyone wanted to use AI, but the problem is like, where do they start?
Yeah.
And where do they start? Obviously the data is always important, and also Arrest is better than explaining this. He keeps telling me the same thing. Before you start looking at AI, look at what the problem you're trying to solve. Is it the problem, is it better, the clearer you are in actually defining the problem, the clearer it will be for the technologists like data scientists and AI experts to make the problem feasible. Like example, it's a classification problem, either it's an anomaly detection problem, or it's a simple prediction problem. Could be in those areas, right? And once you identify what the problem is, then you can look at the data, what the data you have. You can start from a small, and obviously you can just go with it. And also we have Eric also in the car. He's much more experienced as well in being teaching at the universities, and also they know more on that space as well. I think fundamentally this is where a lot of people take a long time to even take the step, right? companies, I think 6 months or 1 year to even start the journey of, a transformation program of AI. By the time they talk about, that's the reason why I started the business today, because I was the innovation head for companies before. There was no innovation happening. Everyone is talking about presentations for almost 6 months and nothing goes there. And, it's interesting.
Sorry, everyone, I have to drop off.
Thank you, Jemma.
Lovely to meet you. Sorry, I can't hear the rest of the conversation.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think I'll let, as I just was kind of creating a story for everyone to just how it is evolving. So I think I will, maybe time, Alexander, maybe you want to share something about your side as well, it would be great.
Sure, thanks. It's a pleasure to be here at the 1 year anniversary. I've been active and engaging with Raj since the beginning of end of 2019, beginning of 2020. My background is I'm a 20-year financial services and banking professional, having worked at KPMG and HSBC. And throughout that time, I became increasingly interested in the potential of technology, and at the same time concerned that people were using technology for technology's sake. And it's very pleasing to have been working with AI Infinity, really with the explainable AI, because working in innovation and the financial services sector as well as sustainability, those are all realms that are now heavily relying on black box AI. And it is only a matter of time until mistakes are made. We're looking at algorithmic trading. Some of those have been thrown out at great expense. The environmental, social, and governance agenda is raising to the top of almost every corporate. Where is the truth? Is it marketing? And how can we reliably get the quantities of data? So I've been really working hard with Raj and the team to find these use cases, because I'm from the business side. And then equally, because AI is quite complicated and many people are making an industry of complication, and that complexity either locks people out or it locks people in, depending on whether you're wanting to make yourself indispensable to a company, or if you want to create exclusivity or restrict access. And really what we're doing is breaking that down and trying to make the application of AI additive, and additive in a human context, not just in a profit context, enabling humans to focus on what humans are best at, which is creativity and innovation, and allowing the mundane and repetitive tasks to be automated, and at the same time enabling people to understand why. I take a great example out of the medical field. We just used AI as a society to identify halicin, the antibiotic which will respond to MRSA and other superbugs. But it was just done by a rules-based approach. Do we actually know whether or not that is a safe product, that it will deliver what it promises? And unless you have explainable AI, you won't understand how the AI came to the conclusion. And you'll do what they do in the financial services sector when they're doing algorithmic trading, which is just to get the AI to run scenarios. There's no real creativity or innovation. It's just manual labor being automated. So I'm really excited, and just hearing some of the other areas that are active, I'm quite sure over the next month and months, there'll be some really interesting opportunities to cross-fertilize. So really pleased to be on board. Financial services and the environmental social governance realm are going to be very, very interesting, I think, over the next month. And I look forward to working with everyone on our common goal.
No, thank you very much, Alexander. I think that's, obviously your support has been more than phenomenal, because obviously, thank you very much for that. And obviously, Alexander, for everyone, he's leading our financial innovation. One of the areas is obviously financial services, and also his personal interests are on sustainability. And obviously, that's where he's really passionate about. Obviously, there could be many things, and that's one of the space also where we'll be looking at developing some use cases on actually sustainable goals, and everyone talks about it. And this is where we would like to start some use cases about it as well, to understand. Maybe Alexander is better at telling that rather than me. and that will be part of our wider propositions in our business. Not just profitable financial P&L numbers, like rather looking at more sustainability, ESG goals. And Alexander, do you have anything to share on that sustainability side?
No, I mean, it's just really driving and leveraging the Alive Core 360 product, and looking at sentiments, starting to look at these qualitative measures that get ignored as we monopolize our focus on just financial numbers, and really bringing those qualitative metrics into the business realm in a tangible way. And sustainability and that entire agenda, it's going to be underpinning investment cases, it's going to be underpinning regulation, it's going to be underpinning consumer buying habits, and using AI to ensure that there's truth within that, and to call out abnormalities and irregularities. It's going to be very exciting, because at the moment it's a realm of emotion, and the one thing that I've learned about AI so far is that it doesn't feel, it just does. So to use that actually to overcome some of our emotional tendencies is very exciting, because there will be trillions of dollars reliant upon ESG metrics, and if AI can ensure that they're doing it on a sound basis and being able to see much further than they could otherwise, it would be very exciting. But it just leverages on all of the existing use cases and just applies it in a slightly different way. So lots of opportunity to work together.
Thank you, Alexander. I think with that, I just wanted to take a short pause here. I think if you see my screen over there, which I'm projecting there, obviously this is a new design of our company, and obviously what we're really doing is that obviously our core team, all what we believe in is actually human first. It's not, obviously we're using technology, AI right now, but actually human in the sense like, we are augmenting human intelligence here, right? You can call us amplifying human intelligence with AI. And that is all we are about, because obviously whatever we're doing so far is all completely to either have making efficiency for humans, making efficiency for companies, and augmenting human intelligence, right? Because there's no way the machine can able to obviously be better at things like human intuition, or perhaps maybe we're not there yet. That is what our branding and also vision is about as well for the company. So obviously you can see the human. That's one of the things what we're looking at is like, instead of AI Infinity, we'll be calling it as HI, which is like human augmented intelligence, right? So that is where we're looking at now. Very soon it will be coming to the branding as well in that regard. Neil, do you have anything on that, Neil? Because you've been involved with me in that heavily on the branding, and obviously it'd be great to have your insight as well.
No, sure, Raj. For me, having been involved in gazillions of businesses all my life in many different sectors, the key to success really is clarity. Clarity really in the context of where the business is going, what it's doing, but also in the way that it builds the narrative with the staff and the people that are associated with it. So I just want to give a bit of shape to everything at the moment. We're in a world where AI is massively complex with lots of opportunities. There's black box, there's white box, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. What we need to do is simplify all of that, because we're a baby business. And what we're looking for with you guys and the help from you guys is as follows. At the moment, with Alexander and everybody else, we've identified that amplifying human intelligence and using explainable AI as a tool is the way we want to go. And we have good examples of that, which we've done with the HSBC map on social media. We're now doing one with Mode Finance in Italy. We're now, Bob, I know, is on the call. We're doing quite a lot with automobile industry, and I think we're now recognizing lots of other opportunities in sales and other things. But the key to all of this is we're not a consultancy, so we're not there to do an hour's job for an hour's pay. What we're looking to do is to build a platform that enables us to move in those particular sectors and solve many different problems with slight tweaks. So that is very much a big part of the way we're going. So when you're in your sectors, whether it be medical or whatever, please look at very simple solutions. I was really pleased to hear that thing about having spent £4 million with a load of AI tech people doing stuff. So the thing they found is that by getting the address system more efficient, it saves thousands of hours. So I think a lot of these early day projects will be quite simple before they become more complex. I think there's another aspect as well, which is there's got to be a lot of learning. There's a lot of people talk about AI, and when you listen closely, they're not really understanding what AI is doing. There's a lot of fear around AI because they think it's going to take over the world. Where in fact, as long as it amplifies human intelligence and innovation, we have nothing to worry about. The other part of this business, which is fantastic with TOSAS and things like that, we are out on about 4 or 5 bids on various AI-led projects with universities and innovation bodies and governments. That is another part of where we will develop. So again, if you have really interesting, complex issues in your sectors or your areas, please let us know, because maybe we can feed that in with our academics and tie it into a project that we might be developing in the future. But the key is to go step by step. And at the moment, we're doing pretty well in the financial services market. We're seeing lots of opportunities in the automobile industry as well. But there's other ones that I'm hearing and listening to that can come in. So the idea behind the Friday is that we discuss what's going on and then try and define the areas that we can work in, as well as learning from each other, yeah, in our very specialist fields. So that's really, if I may, Raj, that's sort of my overview. And I hope, please come back to me if you don't think I've got it quite right, or if other people don't quite understand it. But that's the basis, really, of how we're progressing on our first birthday. Yeah.
No, thank you, and thank you, Neil. I think that's really brilliant. For sure. I think obviously being associated with the UCL and also being with the bigger technology people, PhDs and everything. I think it's important. Obviously, we really value your support, and also thanks for being with us for sure in doing many things in branding and strategy and things like that. Thank you. Thank you.
And business, Raj. You need to make a few pennies.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you've been. Exactly. Sure. So I just thank you very much, Neil, on that. So I think with that, I think as we're talking about in explainable AI, I think maybe it's time maybe to introduce Swati, who is actually our head of explainable AI research. I think Swati would be nice to at least share very briefly about. Obviously, we've been talking and you've been leading this space for a long time. Maybe some things about what you think about explainable AI and how you think it is. Obviously, some people know it, but at least just a very, very simple way of saying things, okay? Hi, Swati. I think she might have been unmuted. Okay, so just very briefly, yes. I think I'll let Orest answer to obviously many people know Orest, right? It's very interesting. Basically, Orest and I have been talking since I think last July or something before the company, and obviously it took a while for us because obviously he's very senior researcher in the AGI space, and sure. And it was really great to have him as well, and also looking at some of our problems and putting out the whole architecture, solutions, and also the product live core as well. So Orest, please go ahead and share something about your work, as well as some of the interesting things what you're doing on AGI side, which is very interesting space of AI.
Sure. Hi everyone. So most of you have interacted with me at some point. I met Raj last year. We were working in the same building. So it seems that Raj knows everyone in the world. You know that story, how everyone is in the world is like just 6 social connections away from each other. And so for Raj, I think that number is like 1, something like that. No. We've been working on a number of projects and ideas since then. So it's an interesting field. It's a very dynamic space. Things are changing so fast in AI, both in AI and business. I help companies develop and productionize AI solutions into enterprise environment end-to-end. So of course, I'm passionate about AI. I like to know how, I try to know how everything works. So apart from productionizing AI solutions, I've always been very excited about this prospect of general intelligence novel learning algorithms. I've been part of projects related to investigating the algorithms, possible future algorithms. For a company that focuses on general AI research, I've helped them develop AI prototyping platform that is being used for research purposes, for quickly prototyping and testing novel learning algorithms. So AI is present more and more in the daily lives of us. So it's becoming more and more important to not just build AI solutions, but also to we need the models to be explainable and interpretable. So it's getting quite interesting. So there are many moving parts, and I like that one of the main focuses of the company, and also what Neil mentioned earlier, is about clarity. So it's also trying to keep things simple wherever possible. It's hard to make things easy, and personally I wish I was better at it, but it's a useful process. So happy to contribute to the company and progress the opportunities.
Yeah, thank you, Orest. Of course, Orest is brilliant in also he's doing a lot of things in AGI, which you might know. A lot of people, maybe artificial general intelligence, where I actually work with companies called Good AI, kind of almost not a competitor, but actually in the likes of DeepMind. Most companies know DeepMind, right? Acquired by Google for a lot of money. And he worked on creating that artificial general intelligence models, kind of very interesting area of AI. And he's very heavily in research on that space as well. I'm glad to have you, Orest, with us. And of course, thank you for all the hard times, we've gone through and actually making things work, and long hours on testing. Thank you for that. And really appreciate your efforts. Yes, thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Fantastic. So, Amy, I would like to, I just wanted to run through with everyone just quickly. And so obviously, as you can see, a lot of people in our call today, around 16 people, some of them could not join in. I think one principle what we have in place is that for sure, yes, a lot of people who doesn't know what we are doing. Yes, as Neil pointed out, we're not a consulting company. We're actually building scalable products and solutions. Could be financial services. Currently, the focus is that. And we're also moving to automotive sector very quickly. Also, we're looking at health as one of the area of interest also for us. And of course, yes, if it's a problem, we look at the problem, and also we look at if it's a scalable problem, which means that it's applicable for many companies to solve. Then we can use our core engine models, and then we develop the products and solutions in that space. Not necessarily going after solving every single problem for data problem, analytics problem. We're not that. We're not a consultancy. So that's where the company's vision is also moving towards. In that regard, we have already identified our core team, as you all know, and we are focusing mainly on few areas in the screen. As you can see, the tech team, on sales and operations, obviously, which is very important, and also research is kind of more focused for us right now as well. At least 40 or 50% of time, we are spending a lot of time on research. This is where Professor Tassos, who is actually the head of R&D, head of computer science in the university as well, he's actually our head as well right now, developing a lot of interesting research in not just AI, but how AI can be utilized in concepts like blockchain-enabled systems as IoT. And he's doing that. And we're looking at different areas as well in financial services use cases like risk and compliance. We also have Ali in the call as well. He's actually a subject matter expert and also project manager he worked in many banks, I would say, in London. So mainly in the space of risk, AML, and compliance. Ali, I will be really good to have your quick insights on that as well.
Hi, sorry for joining in, everyone. I think since I last spoke, I might give a little bit of an update. I think when we spoke last week, Raj, more personally around this company I'd heard of in the sports space, an AI trading company, and I was slightly getting back in touch with them to try and understand where there may be opportunities to collaborate. That's in sort of the financial services space, but I thought it was interesting as discussed last week because I think there is some thinking that area may become an alternative asset trading space in its own right because it's uncorrelated to the financial markets, the volatility, and they develop their own AI trading tool, which I think may have use cases in the broader space, algorithm trading, not just in sports. But I think if I could sort of get a better connection with them, get an understanding of how they operate, who the right person might be, I appreciate the email you sent out on anything after that. then it might help us open a few doors in that space. And,
sure.
Aside from the question around whether we should be collaborating with that industry, it was more just to understand who's doing what in these alternative spaces that we may not have traditionally looked at before.
Yeah. Got it. Sure, Ali, definitely. Also, Ali, just a brief, obviously you've been working in the space, and also Ali's background is mainly on the risk and compliance. We're trying to also look at, obviously this space of AML and, fraud detection is kind of complex, right? Companies will spend a lot of billions and maybe millions at least in that space. And obviously we're trying to look at, what are the different complex use cases we can able to pick up, and actually using AI to be enabling more explainable AI solutions in that space, right? That is kind of a niche market as well. And this is where I think collectively with Ali and our team, we'll be looking at some good use cases in that space as well. Thank you, Ali, for being with us. And thank you for your deep knowledge on the financial services, and also helping us to understand some of the complex workflows and processes there.
Yeah, thanks. I think we probably are overdue a discussion in a smaller group to look at those use cases. We've talked about some time, but just for everyone's benefit, we've talked about point solutions where the focus now in AML, financial crime, and digital identity is moving away from the workflow and platforms, because there's just too many out there at the core of the market. But there are lots of new players cropping up with specific value-added services and solutions, leveraging AI, leveraging deep learning. And one area we keep on talking about, which I'm aware of, is around entity resolution, data orchestration on the one hand, as well as network link analysis, where you're trying to understand, based on different data sources, the relationship between what might be like disparate counterparties. But actually, if you go through the motions of analyzing transactions, entity relationships at a corporate level to public data, you might actually find these two separate entities are actually very closely linked. And then that changes the pattern of the risk profile of this one counterparty or end counterparty. And this is all building up a richer picture for the organization, normally banks, who are under very stringent regulations around how they must monitor and report their customer or corporate clients. And this is a massive space. Every bank is doing it. Every bank's spending money at it. And whereas some areas of extended AI we've been talking about are great use cases, very relevant, very value-add, the difference is in the compliance space that you have to have this. If you don't have this for some form of this solution, then the regulator will, or the monitor will say, why haven't you got this? Why aren't you performing the same level as your peers? And you can get a slap on the wrist or a fine, or you have to exit certain businesses or clients. And this has a massive impact on revenue generation and bottom line. So if we look at opportunities and use cases where banks have to have certain solutions in place, I think it'll be a good way to get up in the door. But it means building best-of-breed technologies and capabilities in a specific space. And I think, based on what I'm seeing, this element of bringing together network analysis, entity resolution, or a single view of a customer from a banking perspective, I think these are good use cases. The next step is fleshing out what does that actually mean, what does it look like, what do we need to build, or at least prototype, start have some kind of high-level functioning solution in this space. But that's something I think we'll follow in due course as we progress and we learn more about this space.
Sure. Thank you very much, Ali, for that. Of course, we I think with many things, I think we haven't had a discussion. Let's have that follow-up discussion on that. I think for everyone, I think Ali is our SME and also more than SME, just he's actually lead on that space of financial risk and compliance. And of course, if you have any insights or maybe anything we need to pick up, maybe we can always have a chat. I think, Ali, like we did for Explainable AI recently, because so that at least everyone can get up to speed, and then probably we can able to, contribute to you, and also kind of collectively we can do the best use cases, and also with our rest and the team. Let's do that. And I think I see Nidhi also came into the call. Thanks, Nidhi. And you also from financial services, right? It will be great to have your insights also on the topic, and I'll move on to others as well quickly. Hi, Nidhi.
Yes, good to get on the call, listen about what's going on on USA today. I was expecting a bit of bubbly flowing around you, Raj, which I don't see in the image. So people are not holding a glass next to them. But on a very warm afternoon, I think it's nice to get to know how your journey has been so far. Being an outsider is interesting for me to see how you have, at least in the last 1 month of our interaction, progressed on. But I think my question to this largely would be how are we able to monetize those activities so far after our success with Mode Finance, and how we need to take it forward. So it's good to hear some news about the fact that AI Infinity has been rebranded. That's great, incredible to put the human over there and letting the market understand what the entity does. And
sure.
If there is sort of, I mean, what are the synergies you take forward to the market to say, look, we are not a consultancy company, but we help you get on from point A to point B for the digital return on investment of your infrastructure so far.
Yes.
And how you can make money while we also make some money. So the conversation really needs to be that space.
Really?
Sometimes for me, I don't know.
I appreciate.
I sort of always go down to, are we increasing the revenue, reducing the cost of services, and reducing the risk for any organization, whether in AI or non-AI?
Yeah.
Our solution should be doing that to our customers.
Yes. So sorry. Yes. This is actually, this meeting on Friday is actually talk about, obviously the different people, different opinions, but actually the topics what you talk about, we talk on Tuesdays, which is where we talk about, obviously Neil can, that's where I think we look at, what we have currently and also what we can able to take to the market. I mean, in interest of time, I would like to have, we have two more people join in today. One is, thank you, Nidhi, for that. And hi, Celine.
Sorry, I was on mute. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Hi. I would like to introduce to Celine also to everyone. So Celine is actually one of the biggest company called LogMeIn in most companies, and she's actually, we're working with the company Bolt 360 as our partners in there. And Celine has been, we met almost more than a year now. I think we're looking at different uses of actually looking at, how the conversational AI chatbot platforms, we can able to add sentiment to it, and also, to make like integratable solutions. And thank you, Celine, for making time today. It will be really great to have you, and also maybe quick insights about what's going on. Obviously, one of our engagements is always looking at how we can optimize some of the things in financial services, right? Thank you.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me. So I don't know if you want me to give a brief introduction. Or, sorry, I've got my son joining as well.
It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes with that home, it's fine.
So I look after, give me just one sec, so otherwise you won't be able to hear me. Just one.
That's okay, no problem. So maybe I'll just come back, I think, on that. Yeah, it's okay. So Amy, in the meantime, obviously, Amy is very, obviously, she's looking after operations in the US. And Amy, it would be great to have you speak about, obviously, you just come very recently, but actually you picked up a lot of things. And already looking at opportunities, many areas, like, we never thought we go to automotive sector. You already picked up some opportunities there. Already working with people like Bob, who's a subject matter expert on the space. It will be great to have you there and share some, what you think of, what we're doing, and great to have you and share some insights about that.
Absolutely. So nice to meet you. But so I actually currently residing here in South Florida, so really watching over the US side of operations. And mainly I'm currently focusing on some of the items, which is, of course, the Sentiment AI platform that Raj has. But I strongly believe that this product is not just for financial perspective. It could go anywhere. So kind of like putting my head around to see what industry can be leverage this great product. So one of the items I think that was actually the automotive sectors, which is using the AI chatbot. Basically, it's a very simple solution item where, people here in the US, basically, I call it like the automotive is their legs, right? Because, areas are so vast in space, and then so there's no way you can actually take a quick train to go places, or you really have to have a car to get around point A to B to C. So as being said that, maintenance and repair of automotive is such a crucial, so we came up with this appointment process using AI chatbot, which is really solution product, because many of the dealerships are really not just behind the technology, but it's also now allocating the resources in the right place. So Work AI is not replacing anyone, but really the key is to allocating to resource appropriate area so that they can run the business more efficiently. Anyhow, so I'm actually working on the product side of it, and which Raj mentioned, Bob, he's basically automotive expert, so I work directly with him to work on some of the AI chatbot process.
Thank you.
I don't know if you want to kind of show it to everyone, that's up to you, but so that's where I'm at as far as the automotive side, but besides that, my background also, I'm originally from Tokyo, Japan, so I do have to do a lot of connectivity with the Japanese businesses. So, I'm kind of trying to connect all the dots in the products that we have, not just AI chatbot or AI sentiment. For example, one other company based in Silicon Valley, but it's actually a Japanese business who actually curate like a data and then data quality, data algorithm. So I believe that those kind of items or company can actually leverage our product for a sentiment product and things like that, as well as some IoT ecosystem collaboration project with UK. So there's multiple different angles I'm currently working on, but slowly, but it's moving forward. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little overview of what's happening in my perspective.
No, sure. Thank you very much, Jamie. Of course, you've been only recently with us, and obviously you're doing many opportunities already, which is really great. And already, not only that, you're actually taking the opportunities from zero to almost executing it, which is really good also. And of course, just I think Celine is back now. I think, hi Celine. We've been talking about, one of the interesting project we're looking at. Obviously, I'll have to speak to you separately on that maybe next week, and actually optimizing some of the interesting things what you guys are doing. But obviously, most of you guys know LogMeIn is the biggest company, listed company, right? They have many solutions, and also with AI and also remote working solutions as well with COVID-19 and beyond, right? Because it's many people are like GoToMeeting, it's their product, and LastPass and many products they have very useful for the current virtual times. Sorry, Celine, we could not use GoToMeeting today. We are using Google Meet.
I can see that, but that's okay.
So it's really great to have you as well. So I hope everything is good. So definitely thanks for making time. And for sure, I think, we have a conversation too on actually having, best, how do we make this, your fantastic conversational AI platform with sentiments, and also how do we make it like a valuable proposition to the businesses, right? In not only the financial sector and also different areas as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Apologies for earlier, but I guess
no problem.
Normal now.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah, special guest in meetings. So I'm Celine Alain. I've been with LogMeIn for about a year now, but my background is really around cloud and digital transformation. Before LogMeIn, I worked with Salesforce and Oracle and also Dropbox, mainly helping organizations from different industry to transform from a traditional sort of technology infrastructure to a more digital cloud workspace. So, but at LogMeIn, I specifically work for the Board 360 business, and that's the business where Raj and I are trying to, we are partnering to try bring more value to the financial services sector by combining our digital engagement platform and AI Infinity Sentiment tool together, so to bring more value and more impact on customers' business. But really, the Board 360 business is about, there's two angles to it. So we leverage AI to help employees be more productive in many ways, so by accessing the right information at the right time, which means for the employees spending less time searching for the information they need and focus more on more time focusing on customers. But also the other side of it, and the side that we are working more closely with Raj, is on delivering a digital engagement platform to provide relevant information to customers, and that across different touch points, digital touch points, such as self-service, live chat messaging, conversational chatbot, So really what we want to do is to bring the element of sentiment to give more visibility on the voice of the customer to the organization in that sector. Yeah, in a nutshell, we are working on that program with Raj and hopefully getting to good success and results.
No, thank you, Celine. Celine, I think one conversation is due that we need to get this press release out, right? I think, obviously, you guys are very busy. I think,
Yeah, we need to
yes.
Yeah, sort of a speed up on that.
Yes, exactly. And also, while you're in the call, we have actually, if you remember, sorry, I think we were just over the call, but just allow me 2-3 minutes. I think I would like to also people like Bob and also Santoshi also speak briefly on that. We have Angela in the call today. Actually, if you remember, I actually mentioned about the calls, what we wanted to actually talk about, the customer engagement and experience piece of it, right? And this is one of the show what we actually did towards April. And where I think we need to maybe, if you're up for it, maybe we need to talk separately, looking at how do we kind of, in a very engaging show with consumers, obviously we can talk about the best customer experience and a customer engagement, the channel from yours products as well as from our side, collectively that will be a really great message, I think. Maybe we need to talk about Angela. Hi, Angela.
Hello, Raj. Hi, guys.
Hi. So Angela. Hi, Angela is actually the live host. He's a media director, and he's hosting his live shows every week. There will be interesting topics about many things about customer experiences, financial services, sustainability, blockchain, wearables. I think I'll let him talk. I think he's got a very interesting audience of actually a very engaging audience of actually giving the live talks. And we are very fortunate actually to have spoken in some of the events. I think this is something where we talk as well. Angela, briefly, if you can share your vision and also what you're doing, it will be great actually.
Yeah, so what we do is we come up with shows. We have live shows focusing on business subjects, business topics, and current topics around businesses and the economy, stuff like that. So we had several shows with Raj as well. So I was telling Raj that we can schedule a show around what he's doing with AI technology. So I was thinking maybe some of you can join in, and maybe we can have a conversation, like a live conversation where the viewers can ask their questions, and maybe we can promote some of the services and products that Raj offers. This way we can have usually our view rate is around 7,000 to 8,000 UK views. So this way we will be able to promote Hey Infinity now, right? Like the new branding and what Raj does and what you guys are doing and how it will shape the future. And hopefully this will help us get more potential customers or even people who would be interested in talking to us about the services.
Sure.
So that's the plan that I'm having.
Yes, I think Angela, obviously Celine, she comes from a very much more bigger company like LogMeIn, right? They have many tools, and some of the interesting tools what they have is about the virtual tools. Like an example, in this current COVID-19, people are talking about GoToMeetings, actually things like last passwords, how do you secure it, many tools they have. I think we'll have to talk to also Celine, also if they're comfortable to talk, share some of their interesting products, and also to reach out and obviously to showcase the products actually in a wider audience. And the customer experience also could be an angle. I'm sure that way at least they can also get much more presence, obviously.
If Celine's interested, we can talk about it and maybe schedule a show, because we had Immerse and Body Swaps. Was it last? No, not
last week. Yeah,
week before. Last. So they were talking about their VR headsets and what type of one of the companies were building up soft skills in a work situation where they can train their workforce how to deal with emotions and situations when talking to their customers or talking with their colleagues when they start when they have their meetings, how to respond to certain questions. And I think that was Body Swaps that was developing, that was helping companies develop soft skills of their employees. And we had Immerse talking about what they do is like hard skills basically. So they use VR environments to create this learning environment where you can, like, for an example, they, in terms of oil pumps, you know, like if you're doing maintenance of those active oil pumps, you know, they have a VR environment where they can train their employees and engineers to do that, rather than, you know, getting them into a high risk area to do the training. So we had those people talking about that particular element. So if you're interested, we can actually schedule a show around what you guys do and you know, how it will help the economy and the companies around.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We can have definitely a conversation about it. That'd be very interesting. I'll align my marketing team as well.
Thank you,
Right.
Celine.
That would be perfect.
Thank you very much, Celine. Also, he's got a really big vision of actually. Yeah.
And well, I did work with like you know, basically the Microsoft had a HoloLens, right? I actually worked with another company, and basically was using it for a training for energy company. There's like workers, you know, like the who fixes the power lines, you know. So we actually connected that HoloLens as well as drones to really educate people, so they can actually see multiple people looking at using the HoloLens to basically, okay, is that a problem? Because some of them, like the training, right, it's gonna have to be like on-the-job training. So we're using like HoloLens to do that kind of thing, which is really pretty cool stuff. So.
Wow, it's, yeah, like, you know, like most of our viewers are more interested in tech-based discussions. That's what that's what we noticed. So I think talking about all this tech and, you know, how companies use this different tech, and, you know, like even in Infinity's case, you know, how they use AI and how these VR companies use new VR technology to overcome these issues and lowering the risk factor in the workplace. You know, these kind of stuff, people are really engaged in these kind of discussions. So we should definitely, you know, have a chat and then see what type of programs we can schedule around, you know, your expertise and your experiences, and we can actually, you know, do some, you know, like great programs that people would love to watch.
Perfect. So thank you, Amy, and also thanks, Angela, for joining us. Well, Celine, I think we can have a separate chat with Angela on that. I think it's really great host, and also, of course, if you need any video content or anything like that, any of you guys, I mean, he did a lot of video content for us in terms of, you know, obviously, you remember, Celine, when you actually met us at the FinTech event in December, he was actually the guy, the company who actually did the shooting, the video shooting for us. And he did the whole video content for us, and also the whole, I think he was really great content producer in the media side.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Definitely, I think if there is anything, I'll connect you guys and we'll see. We're just over time. I think we've got a few people, Bipasha as well, and Bob, and we have got Christopher as well, and Santosh. Just very briefly, Bipasha, maybe you can go first. Sorry for the slight over running of time. It would be great also, Bipasha, to just share some.
Yeah, hi everybody. First of all, Raj, congratulations. This is fantastic to be with you and the team on your anniversary. I've met most of you. Celine, hello. We haven't talked before. Hi. So just a bit of background. I have about 20 plus years of experience in international marketing and digital strategy, working mostly in the media business, news. So I've worked with CNN, BBC, Reuters, and most recently with NBC Universal in the entertainment business. So one of the projects that we are in the very early phases of right now, working with Raj and the team, Alexander and Professor Tassos, is trying to figure out how we can use the sentiment AI platform that Infinity has, AlertCore, to fight misinformation, fake news, which has become a growing problem across the world. And it's absolutely impossible to verify for human beings the near infinite amount of content that's being generated on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. So how can we use collective intelligence, human and AI, to tackle that issue? So we are in the process of identifying if there are partnerships out there like institutions, independent institutes, which are interested in working with us, and they will lend us a credibility before we go to news organizations, or even it could be a B2C, a consumer-facing proposition, because as we have learned from our experience with COVID and the U.S. elections and all sorts of elections, and in general, digital life in general, there is a lot of misinformation out there. In fact, Twitter has just started to ramp up their activities around labeling and warnings on tweets to help reduce the spread of misinformation. So that's a little bit for me.
No, thank you, Bipasha. I think Bipasha is also leading our research on fake news because it's a very complex topic, and we have Professor Tassos who already have patents on that subject. And that is one of our more interesting R&D going forward as well to understand, because this is the biggest problem currently the world is facing, not with COVID, but actually many things about, mental health and many things like that is happening, I'm sure, over the next couple of weeks. And obviously every week we have a topic on that. I think we'll present that also in one of the Fridays, actually what's been doing, what actually the steps we're doing. And we put proposals to the Innovate UK as well to work on this latest innovation on multimodal fake news, like image and video, and also the text data, which is much more complex. And thank you, Bipasha, for that as well. I appreciate that. And I would like to definitely just switch to very quickly to, obviously, Christopher has kindly come from Italy. He just joined right now. And hi, Christopher. You're on mute, I think. Christopher is from Milan, and we've been talking to, obviously, Christopher has been having good clients in Italy, financial services, also not non-financial services, and we're trying to also look at some opportunities in there, looking at security and surveillance space. And yeah, thanks, Christopher, for coming in. I don't know if you can. You're on mute, I think. Come back if you can. And I think I would like to pass on to Bob and now something.
Hello,
hi, Christopher.
Can you hear me? Hello,
yes, yeah. Thanks for joining in. Maybe a few words if you can, please. Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, obviously I've been listening to the conference, but it's all fairly new to me, as you know, Raj. We are in asset management and new services, and obviously we are looking into integrating with financial services, and what you're doing, I think it's very important, the sentimental side and the fake news. We'll have to have some more conversations on it. It's the first time we've participated in one of your one of your conferences, so I found it very interesting, Raj, up until now.
Thank you.
Let's discuss it maybe next week.
Sure, Christopher. Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Christopher. And also, a very interesting thing is, Christopher kindly hosted us in Milan when we were in February, when we were actually in the current times of that COVID-19, right? So we escaped.
That's a problem at the moment. Other than sentiment, I think it's more than medical and physical.
Perfect. Thank you.
Identification of healthcare.
Thank you. Just very few words from Santa as well, because obviously she's a PhD in molecular biology, and she's my sister also. Obviously, she would like to have a quick. Obviously, we have Enrico also in the call. He's actually on the medical side as well. Just some of the things what you think is interesting in AI, and also what you're doing. It will be great.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. First of all, congratulations for the whole team. It's a great team, actually. Like every time I talk with Raj, he always appreciates his team. So apart from my team, also everybody is doing great and taking a step forward and putting your efforts. Thank you so much on that. And I'm Santoshi, and I am a PhD in molecular cancer biology. So right now I'm a project scientist in clinic in Ohio in USA, and what I'm working on currently is like on solid tumors, especially we do a lot of confocal microscopy and RNA-seq to find out like what are the highly expression genes. We always compare the tumor ECM and normal ECM, like how tumors are different, like how tumors are growing in normal environment. That's always the exciting thing. So we do a lot of confocal microscopy, as the team is also working on different imaging analysis. So it's really helpful in that way. So I'm looking forward to help in every way to prosper the team, and I like that modification, like the new series for Infinity. So congratulations for the new series.
No, thank you, Santhu. Yeah, it's great, and we definitely can have with Enrico as well. I think he's actually an AI professor, and also he's doing a lot of work in that. And also Michael, last time we spoke on the medical biomarkers, and that, yeah, definitely we can have a conversation and see. Also, we have Amy also. She also understands some have connections in the medical side as well. We can able to pick up some areas, and for sure we can have a conversation on that in terms of our R&D. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Nice to meet you, friend. I hear really great things about you, so finally I'll be able to speak, and then we turn on the camera home. Sorry, I'm actually outside walking my dog a little bit.
Oh, you're enjoying a nice sunny Florida, right?
Yeah, I think it's a little sunny blue sky, hopefully.
Yeah, cool. Perfect. Thank you very much, Amy. Sorry, Bob, last but not least, but obviously Bob has been really great for us, and also he's really kind of taking the product from zero to kind of giving the great use cases in automotive sector, and also giving making us how we can able to scalable. And thanks, Bob, and please, that's really great to have you in the team. Of course,
thank you.
It's just a beginning, right?
I'm excited, and after listening to everyone else, as Brian said at the beginning of the call, the vertical I'm working in the automotive is by using the AI. We're using the mundane part of AI for just process streamlining. And even though this product is quite more advanced than what most dealerships are using, so I see huge opportunities for being able to use this as far as in the service side was my expertise, but I've also been in sales for over 20 years. So when we demonstrated this product, we can see that it's also going to be used in sales, as well as there may even be a parts part of this as well. But a lot to move forward in, a lot of opportunities in automotive, and working with, right now, just on the dealership level, but trying to get into working with the companies that are creating or that are hosting these for dealerships, as well as other software platforms that could use this software either integrated or partnered with, that would cover a much broader scope because of the amount of clients that they currently hold. So I definitely see the opportunities to how this is going to improve so much. It's dealerships, believe it or not, even though cars are run by over 27 computers or PCs, most dealerships are very behind the times when it comes to technology.
Right.
And so this is going to be amazing for them. And it's just now, I mean, even the stores I'm working with, they don't move as fast as what we're trying to do. So the processes, and I don't want to say the red tape, but they're not used to things happening fast because they're always held up either by a boss or an owner, or, even their employees in some stores run the show. So,
yeah. So no, definitely, Bob. I think
I didn't know what I was talking about today, so I just
no. That was really great, Bob. Of course, like I said, but that's why I think we're actually putting a lot of focus on automotive sector right now, which actually Amy and you will be looking at actually shaping up that value proposition there for sure. Let's connect early next week and actually have that good discussion, and also find out what is that we have, and also what is that we can able to take it forward, and also once that is materialized, then we can able to start building some applications on that. And obviously, yes, I think we can do that. I think thank you, Bob, for making time today, and really appreciate it. And so I think, as you can see, it's really great people. And also, we've gone 20 minutes now over, and really appreciate everyone's support. And Enrico, again, thank you for staying by as well longer. Since you're the first one.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
Thank you, Enrico, for sure. I think we will definitely connect on the medical side of it with Konduru, Dr. Konduru, and also with the other guy we spoke last time with Michael, and see some of the opportunities and things what you did in AI. For sure, I think that is definitely coming up very close to us right now. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Enrico. I think with that, I will respect everyone, and thank you again for everyone's contributions. And have a great weekend wherever you are. And thank you, Christopher and Enrica, Bob.
Yeah,
Amy,
thank you.
Forrest.
We'll speak again next week.
Take care. Thank you, Sandeep. Bye.
They're very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you, Raj.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Amy. Bye now. I think you joined in twice, right, Amy?